I know. This is the time of year where you think about your faith, perhaps, your religion, and not necessarily those that we traditionally associate with this time of year. Because, right, there's the winter solstice. There's, I'm pretty sure that baby JC wasn't born on the 25th of December. However, that is just the days we celebrate, significant events based on significant things in people's belief path. Which is why over this holiday season, I wanted to get into Scientology a little bit. And by that, I don't mean become a member. I consider myself non-dominational, right? But just like, you hear a lot about Scientology and a lot of it isn't good. And then you wonder, okay, well, they have people like John Travolta, supposedly, right? Kirstie Alley, Tom Cruise, right? A whole host of others that you probably recognize, right? That chick from the Invisible Man movie, allegedly. I don't know them personally, but I say allegedly because I don't know if it's something people want to be associated with, right? I mean, that's what I get. Like, not that you need to talk about your faith, because I really don't give a shit. And I don't think people should be concerned about your faith either. But if there is different types of faiths out there, or different types of, not even faiths, but perspectives on how things came to be, and if there is something after, I find that interesting in itself. Because most people want something to, hold on to or believe in. Well, I felt like I was going to slip into an REO Speedwagon song there. But hey, right, people, so they'll find things in it that gravitate towards it, and if it helps them, then in my theory anyways, right, it would promote and entice that behavior or strengthen that bond and resolve. Yes. I think Scientology is a lot like that, right? Because a lot of the people now, from what you see on, on all these shows and stuff like that, there's a lot of second or third generations. So when you're born and already indoctrined into something, you're going to think that's just the natural way, and you're out to lunch, right? It's like if you were, raised in another country and you come here and it's like, well, that's weird. You know what I mean? Like, just those little things, but on a whole other level. Like, they're completely submersed in that 24/7. That's their life. That's their normal. That's the, as much as I hate that word, but that's their normal, right? Because that's fine. They grew up. That's great. They had a good childhood. That's great. But the belief system itself behind it is what I always find fascinating, right? Because it's a religious system, right? It's based on seeking self-knowledge and spiritual fulfillment, right? Through courses, studying, and training, right? So basically, knowledge is power, right? It was founded by American science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard. The L stands for Lafayette. So basically, he was a science fiction writer. He started writing. Originally, he had this set of pseudo-scientific ideas he presented as called Dianetics. It was a type of form of therapy where he set up an organization for it, I think, in like 1950s to kind of promote it. Unfortunately, it went bankrupt, and as his ideas were not looked at fondly by the scientific community. But when he recast it as religion, renamed it Scientology in 1953, he founded the Church of Scientology, right? That's when things kind of started to turn around, right? So it has like, just, I don't know how many members it has online. I'm not even going to jump there. But I do know that some of the key beliefs I find quite fascinating because, and I'm not advocating or condemning anything here, but just like in the belief system itself, they believe in reincarnation and that traumatic events can cause subconscious command-like recordings in your mind. Engrams, I think they call them. Right? They can be removed only through that activity which they call auditing, right? which is like you might see on TV when they go. South Park did an episode on it where it was kind of described it perfectly about what they go through. Right, you have to pay, of course, for these sessions because to free yourself from anything internal damnating to your soul. There's always a price tag. Each auditing session is done by someone called an auditor. Once the auditor deems that person free of engrams, they're given the status of clear. So you'll hear that Going Clear was a documentary they had about people breaking free of Scientology and running, you know, a petting zoo or something now. Right? It was done in the sense of when you're totally cleansed, you can go clear, right? So after attaining clear status, these folks can take part in the operating the thetan levels, right? Which requires, of course, further payments because, you know, once again, that's just how things go, right? I even had to take some notes for this one because this one got long, right? So an operating thetan is an OT. And he's capable of complete spiritual freedom, knowing cause over life, thought, matter, energy, space, and time. So there's 8 levels of being an operating thetan. Each level, costing thousands of US dollars. But each level is confidential with the objective of these levels is to remove body thetans. So as you go up, I thought the thetans were already gone, but anyways, I guess not. I guess as you move up this scale, I guess the deeper the thetan, the higher the number, maybe? I don't know. But the levels, the OT levels, are the upper part of the bridge to total freedoms. This set of levels within Scientology, after removing one's own reactive mind and attaining a state of clear. So once you hit almost like a spiritual Zen-like peace, then you'll be on this higher path, right? You know, OT is the highest state there is. OTs are described as like a state of kind of like godliness. Think of like those Star Trek episodes and they run into those guys like the dude from the Civil War or even Next Generation Q, guys like that, right? If you believe it, you can make it happen. You can do it. Now, I don't know whether or not this is true or not. Like I said, I'm not advocating or condoning anything here. But that's just kind of like the basic kind of belief system. Now, if you guys like this one, I can talk a little more because the actual religion-y part around it is something to behold. So if you want to hear that, let me know, and I'll do that part too. But this is my opinion. I hope everyone chills out tonight and stay warm. All right.